Hey you guys, so I'm back. So Grey's Anatomy season 16, episode 12, The Last Supper. Whew. I love when Grey's Anatomy does episodes like this. They do these episodes where it's real personal, nothing that has to do with the hospital. It's about family or it's about a situation, but it always proves to be um epic. And all these episodes, they're very entertaining. They're full of energy. There's not a dull moment, and I loved that they did this. Now they've had episodes in the past, like when Jackson and Avery got divorced. They had the episode when when Arizona and Cali got divorced. They had the episode. They've had a couple of different kind of episodes like that as well. Like when Bailey had a heart attack, they had an episode like this. Um, I know there's some more that I'm forgetting, but these episodes always bring me so much life. Now the story is pretty much easy to get out and talk about because it was centered around two different people or two different stories tonight. So it's kind of easier to get out and the video won't be as long. But it was a great episode, and I can probably tell you that the views for this episode were not as good. Some of the reason because black people was on here all the whole night, and and two gay men were on the other story. So it's kind of like this episode was probably not as popular as normal episodes of Grey's Anatomy are, but I always love these episodes. I love them with all my heart. So I'll get it, the small part out first. Basically, Levi, he goes to visit his uncle who is in hospice. It's the person who has always cared for him and shown him a different kind of love. His uncle was very mean to other people, but he always loved Levi. Now, Levi tells him that hey, this is who I'm in a relationship with, and his uncle dies. But come to find out, it's because his uncle was like him as well. I mean, I don't know if that's why he died, but he come to find out his uncle just, was like him as well. And Levi, kind of just he decides that, he can't live with his mom no more because she's, not accepting of his life. And that's pretty much how that goes. So to the nitty gritty. Jackson, Maggie, Richard, and Catherine, Vic, and Miller. Now, this was a this was a interesting scene. Quick side note: I wonder if Vic and Miller got in their character, their real people, they got paid more to do this episode because it's Grey's Anatomy that they were on and not Station 19. I wonder. I wonder that. I don't know why. I just wonder. It kind of makes sense that Grey's Anatomy has a bigger budget than Station 19 does, but I just don't know. I kind of wonder about that. But but hey, which leads me to another thing. I don't know why I just ran a thought. What if Warren does this hospital thing where the surgery thing on the road and it kind of gets spins off into another show? I'll keep that in the back of my head and I'll refer back to this if that ever happens. But anyways, so they all have, like I mentioned in Station 19, they all had dinner and everything. Um, Miller did end up coming with Vic to the dinner, and basically Richard and Catherine are like, bro, this is the last supper. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna be together anymore. We just need to break it to the kids easy. For those of you who do not know, Richard is Maggie's mom. Um, I totally said it wrong. Richard is Maggie's dad. Um, and Jack and Catherine is Jackson's mom. Now, they Richard and Catherine got married first. Then, Jackson and Maggie started dating. Now, Jackson and Maggie broke up at the end of last season, and um, now Richard and Catherine are going to break up. Now, so which kind of made for an awkward dinner, anyways, right? Because everybody's pretending to be nice and lovey-dovey to each other. Jackson brings his girlfriend. Vic brings Miller. Kind of sets it up. I'm telling you right now, I think that they're going to start talking to each other, Miller and Maggie. I can feel it in my heart, but we'll soon find out. Um, so Maggie's attitude the whole entire night towards Jackson was hilarious. She wasn't being like mean. She says that she was kind of taking it out on Vic. I didn't really notice that much. I kind of feel like she was just, pointing out little things like, bro, why didn't you tell your girl this? You don't tell her anything type deal. But her attitude is so funny because that's not how she is. She's not a condescending person at all. She's the nicest, happiest person. But with everything that she's going through right now, she's kind of become this kind of condescending person, and it's hilarious. I love it. I love to watch it. Um, mm, what I didn't mention from Station 19 was that Jackson and Vic had this moment at the fire station where she was like freaking out. She was like, you know, so a friend died. That's got me thinking about Ripley. You're a rich boy. My parents just own a restaurant, and all these type of differences that they were, bringing up. And he was like, bro, I love you for you. I don't care about any of that, or I like you for you. And he's like, bro, it's not even that deep to me that I have money. I think that Jackson's been with nothing but women who didn't have money when they met him. Um, and it's not a gold digger thing because he didn't even tell people who he was. People just kind of found out on the show after like I want to say it was season 6 when his grandpa came on. That's when people found out who Harper Avery was. But yeah, so Jackson's kind of, very understanding of that. And then when Vic brings Miller, Jackson's like, bro, what's going on, bro? You need a ride or something. And he was like, Miller's like, bro, what did you do? Because he knows Vic, he knows how she is. And it's kind of like, he was like, yeah, whatever. It's just, a dinner party, whatever. So, Catherine's very condescending the whole entire night to Vic. And come to find out, it's just because that they were going to get a divorce. So they kind of hesitated to tell people about the divorce because um they ended up having all these people here. You don't want to tell all these people that you're getting a divorce. You would rather just be intimate with the kids type deal. But at some point they were when the kitchen, he was like, "Well, I forgot about our engagement story and everything." And she was just like, bro, I love you. I want to be with you. Let's forget this whole thing. He's like, you can't even apologize. And I'm like, yeah, that whole statement that he made, like, you can't apologize, so it doesn't even matter. And she's like, I'm sorry, but he's like, apologies don't have a but in them. And she's like, um, yeah, she just couldn't say anything after that. So it's kind of like crazy to see how they unfolded because when they got together it was such a loving story. It was so great, but you can't be always be the hard woman to a man. Like you can't present yourself like that to a man or you won't keep one. And I see that from I'm watching Grey's Anatomy, bro. You can't always be in control. Yeah, she's got more money, she's got more power, but you still gotta let a man be a man, and she wasn't even on that. So that's why things just didn't work out. And I hope they can work out because it's cool seeing a nice, older black couple on Grey's Anatomy. I like seeing that. So that would be nice to see. At the end, when Catherine's like, you know, or Richard says, Pac North's doing good. We're projected to do better numbers. And Catherine's like, he's like, well, what you gonna do about it? And Catherine's like, okay. So she gets on the phone and she's like, I want you to see some offers about, buying Pac North. And he's like, bro, why would you even do that? And she was like, well, you said it's gonna make a profit, so I'm gonna buy it and, maybe make a profit for it, or I'll shut it down. And she walks out the door and she says, and I'm not sorry either. And I'm like, man, you petty, petty person. You know what I want to say. You petty, petty, petty person. Like, how? That's crazy. Like, you can't let the man have no happiness. You didn't stand up for him when he got fired. And now he's trying to move on and rebuild. He built what's the hospital? Grace Sloan. He built that hospital. And now he's building another life. And you want to take that away from him too because you're being petty when it was your fault in the first place? All because you think that he was sleeping with his friend. Yeah. So that was pretty much all this episode was hilarious and petty. And this video was just as long as all the other ones because I like to talk. But yeah, I will see you guys next week. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on Monday for Love and Hip Hop. Have a great night.